Welcome to the Holistic Soul Sister channel. My name is Mandy Rose. I'm a holistic health coach, spiritual mentor, and astrologer. And today I wanted to take a moment to talk to you guys about why knowing your own personal birth chart and the birth chart of those you love and those around you is really, really important. If you're not familiar with a birth chart, it's also called a natal chart, and it's simply a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born. It shows where all the zodiac signs were, it shows where the sun and the moon was placed, and also where all the other planets were at the time of your birth. There's also other fixed spots such as the North Node and the South Node, Chiron, Lilith, and other asteroids. Now, the way that we find our birth chart is by knowing the date of our birth, which most of us know, the time of our birth, which I know some of us may or may not know, and also the place that you were born, because all those things matter. Now, I get the question all the time, what if I don't know the time that I was born? Well, there's a couple ways you can go about it. You can try to find your birth certificate. You could call the hospital where you were born at. And if none of these are possible, there's ways that we can look on the date that you were born at different times to see what fits you best. Our birth chart tells us so many things about us. You know, when we're younger, we love to take those personality quizzes or all those quizzes that they used to put in like Cosmo magazine and all the teeny magazines. And you know, our birth chart is really the answers to all the quizzes we've ever taken in our life. So many people their whole life have been looking up their horoscope to understand, what the future holds for them. And something I want to highlight is that your horoscope, you're looking up something called your sun sign. Now, your sun is only one tiny piece of your entire birth chart. You have your moon and Venus, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune. You have your North Node, your South Node. You have all the zodiacs, all 12 zodiacs, and where they fall in your chart indicates what areas of your life you're going to feel certain things, different lessons you're meant to learn. There's so many things that we can better understand about our birth chart. I really want to take a moment to emphasize this point because I feel like so many people have this really confused about astrology. Astrology is not a prediction of your future. There is nothing set in stone in your birth chart that is absolutely going to happen. We can't say that you're going to have an accident for sure on this day or that you're going to get a promotion on this day. Like, astrology is not predictive. We all have free will and we all get to make choices. Astrology is simply the energy that we were born with. That's why over time we grow and we change. Our birth charts actually reflect the growth process. How we grow though, and in what time frame we grow is our own personal choice. So astrology is simply just energies. So we have a tendency to feel love in a certain way. We have a tendency to communicate in a certain way. We have a tendency to view the world in a specific way because the energy that we were born in. We're all just imprints of the planets and the stars at the moment that we were born. So I know this can be a lot of overwhelming information, and that's why doing a birth chart reading, we spend a solid hour just breaking down the core of who you are so that things make sense in your life. Learning your own personal birth chart is really a lifelong journey. So the more that you dive into your birth chart and the more that you understand it, the more clear you can become on why you are a certain way. Why I absolutely love doing birth chart readings and why I think every single person should have a basic understanding of their birth chart is because it gives you a little bit more grace and a little bit more understanding of why you are a certain way you are. Instead of telling yourself negative things like, I wish I was more social, but I'm actually more introverted. I wish I was this way. But when you read your birth chart and you understand that that's just the way that you were born, you can have a lot of acceptance for yourself. And that's also the benefit of understanding your partner, your spouse, your children, or your loved one's birth chart, because you can also give them a lot of grace. I'm going to give you guys an example. Me and my boyfriend really started to understand each other's birth charts when we first started dating. And we are so vastly different in many, many ways, but so similar in other ways. And the parts of us that were different, we used to kind of say, why are you like this? Why can't you be more like this? Why do you think this way? Why do you want to feel this? Why do you want love in this way? But when I read his birth chart, I was like, oh, okay, this is just who you are. This is how you were born. Like you were born in that specific time with the energy of these planets downloaded into you. Now that I understand his birth chart, I give him so much more grace and patience because I see, oh, you were born with Venus and Scorpio. So no wonder you want to feel love this way. You have a Gemini moon. So when you have these mood shifts and mood swings, I can't take it personal. It's just the energy that you were downloaded and imprinted with in your soul when you were born into this lifetime. So I give so much more patience and grace and understanding instead of being frustrated and saying, why can't you be like this? Why this? Why that? Right? And he does the same for me. I have a Venus in Libra. So in love, I need to feel like things are fair, things are equal, that you're pulling your weight. And that makes a lot more sense to him then when I'm asking him to do certain things or when I feel a certain way and I think with my head and not my heart. So it's really, really interesting to better understand your partner's birth chart. I also do this with my parents and with my brother and with a lot of my friends because it helps me understand, oh, they feel love in this certain way because their Venus is placed here. Oh, when I communicate with my brother, for instance, he needs me to communicate in a very direct, clear, detailed, get to the point kind of way. But when I communicate with my mom, she needs me to be a little bit more heart-centered, a little bit more softer. So these are really cool things that you can use to foster the relationships in your life. The other thing that we can do with birth charts is what's called Synastry Readings. It's when you take your birth chart and lay it on top of someone else's in a analytical way, and we can look at where is your planet in relation to this person's planet. For instance, are your moons, which is your emotions, in good relation, or are they in hard relations? You know, is your Venus, your love planet, in a good aspect or a hard aspect with someone else's Venus? You know, these are ways that we can kind of identify, like, are you a good fit? Are you a good match in certain ways? You know, the thing with astrology is nothing is good, nothing is bad. And that's something I really want to make sure I mention is that there is no good placements and there's no bad placements, okay? It just is, and it's just energy, and it's just something to understand. So you can't say like, oh, someone's a Sagittarius and someone's a Virgo, they're not compatible. There's so much more to that. Your sun is just one piece of the puzzle. So, and the last thing I think that is so important, and if you're a parent, you're an expecting parent, you have a baby on the way, it is so important to understand our children's birth charts as parents. When babies are born, we're like, wow, how did they have that tendency? Why do they do things a certain way? And most often that comes from what we call our south node. It's our past life. It's our karma that we've come into this world with. It's where we've been. It's kind of the skills and the talents we already have. And babies come in more of their south node than their actual sun. So if you have a baby that is born during December and you think your baby is a Sagittarius, well, it will be. It will grow into a Sagittarius. It will have lots of Sagittarius energy as it grows up and your child, really finds their core and their confidence in who they are. But until then, they're going to be more their south node. And then our south node, the opposite point, is called our north node. It's our future destiny. It's where we're meant to go in this lifetime. And so if you knew that about your child at the moment it was born, you could help foster that. Our north node is kind of like our own personal North Star. It's where we're meant to go in this lifetime, but it feels uncomfortable. It feels so far away. It feels like I could never be that because I'm so much like this. But it's how we grow and it's what we're supposed to, accomplish in this lifetime. So if you knew that about your child right away, you could start fostering that within them. Help them with hobbies and activities and, grow them into these personality traits that they're meant to learn in this lifetime. Also, we have what's called our rising sign. And this is the mask that we wear for the world. It's if someone didn't know us and they met us on the street, we would put this mask, this front up. And we all have one. And so as a parent, you can kind of see that difference between the mask that your child is wearing and then who they are when they're in their room alone before bed. Some children have a lot of aggression and they go to school and they act a certain way, but then they come home and they're like really sweet to their siblings and they're really loving. And so understanding their sun versus their rising sign will help you as a parent kind of give them a little bit more grace. Understanding their moon sign is like, understanding their emotions, how they express their emotions, how they feel their emotions. When children are born and even up until the age of like 8 or 9, they're not able to really fully express their emotions. They act and they behave and they react, but they're not able to communicate these details. And so understanding your child's moon sign is going to help you say, this is how my child expresses emotions. This is how they communicate their emotions. This is how they feel emotionally. So it's so great to know that as a parent. Also, understanding your child's Mercury placement. Mercury is the planet of communication. How do they prefer to communicate? Are they better writers? Are they better speakers? Are they better painters and artists? Your Mercury is how you communicate your skills and talents to the world. It also indicates how we learn. Understanding where your Mercury is placed is going to help you best decide how your child learns in school and how they are going to receive information. So this is really important for parents. And then you have your Venus, your love planet, how they feel love, how they express love. It kind of indicates our love languages. And, we are learning so much in the field of psychology about inner child wounds and how our relationship with our parents ends up affecting us in our relationships down the road. So understanding your child's Venus is really going to help you foster their feelings of love and their feeling of safety and security. Venus also exemplifies how they feel about beauty and creative endeavors and their morals and their values. So these are great things to understand. And then there is so much more to learn about your child's birth chart, especially if you're a parent of more than one child. Often we can say that these two children are not even closely related, right? They are so different. But when you look at one child's birth chart and the other child's birth chart, it's very clear that they are different. They have different placements of all the planets. They have different zodiac signs and different houses. They have actually different north nodes and future destinies. One child's future destiny could be more in like finances and building an empire. And the other child's destiny is to become spiritual and creative and help the world in like a Mother Teresa Gandhi way. And wouldn't it be great to know, like, this is what my child's destiny is, and then you can help them each uniquely foster it within themselves? I absolutely love that. And so if you're a parent that is expecting a child, you have a child, even if your child is an adult, it's still good to know these things. Relational astrology is just so beautiful because it helps us better understand ourselves and others and those that we love, and gives us more patience and grace and acceptance. So if you're interested in getting a birth chart reading, go ahead and reach out to me. I always leave my calendar open for a couple spots every week. I would absolutely love to help you dive into this a little bit more. And we can do your chart. We can do one of your loved ones' charts. Like I said, all you need to know is your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace. If you don't have the specific time, we can also still find out a lot of information about your placements and where different planets were and stuff. So we will make do with what we have. I can also do synastry readings. So like I said, you can take two people and see how compatible they are. And also I do this really great service where it's like an ongoing astrology mentorship. So for instance, if you're a parent and your child is going through those developmental years, we can have monthly check-ins where I can say, hey, don't forget, your child has this placement. This is what might be going on with them. Because we also have this really unique aspect in astrology where not only do you have your specific birth chart that indicates the time that you were born and the energy you were given as a soul at the time of your birth, but that's also affected every single day. See, the planets move every single day. The sun is constantly moving by 1 degree all around the zodiac wheel. The moon is shifting every 3 days, all the way up to the outer planets. So every single day, we're doing, like I said, that synastry reading where you can put one person's chart next to another person's and see how they affect each other. You can do the same thing with your own personal birth chart and the chart of today, the actual planetary placements of where all the planets are in the sky today. And that is constantly changing, right? All the planets are moving every single day. And so when you put that on your own personal birth chart, it's going to affect you in a unique way, and it's going to affect someone else in a unique way. So I can help people with that and say, okay, this month, this is the energy of the planets today, and this is how it's going to impact you personally. For instance, if you have Mars, which is the planet of your passion and your drive, in your 4th house of home and family. And now today, that same planet of Mars is in that sign where your Mars was at the time you were born. You're going to feel what's called a Mars return. It's when Mars comes back to the same place in your birth chart today in the sky. And that's going to impact you in a certain way. We have things called Saturn returns. Saturn is karma and discipline and lessons. And when we go through our Saturn return, when Saturn makes his way all the way back around the zodiac to where you were born, you go through a really tough transition in life. So we can look every single year, we can look on a monthly basis. What are the planets doing today that's going to impact you? How are you going to feel things? What you should anticipate, what you should look out for, things that you should accomplish, things you should definitely not participate in. And this is great not only for parents to help their child as they go through these developmental years, but it's also great for us to know about ourselves. So I do ongoing monthly astrology mentorships, either for relationships or for you personally. Or like I said, we can do every year one birth chart year where I can just look up the entire 12 zodiac signs for the upcoming year and kind of help you navigate your year. Or we could just, like I said, break down your basic birth chart and help you better understand who you are at your core. I know these concepts can be very abstract, very difficult to digest. It's a lot of information, a lot of words that can make absolutely no sense if you're not super familiar with astrology. So if you have any more questions, feel free to message me, send me an email. I have all my contact information in the description box below. And if there's any other topics you guys want me to talk about related to astrology or breaking down concept, please don't hesitate to put it in the comments section. I love to make videos that help you better understand yourself, better understand others, and help make sense of the chaos in our lives, whether it's in the world or with our own personal bubbles. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I really, really look forward to helping you better understand your life because of astrology. Bye, guys.